This video, I'd like to show you how the three non-math PassGED websites can help you get 3/4 of the points on writing questions in the GED Science Test, the GED Social Studies Test, and the GED Language Arts Test. I begin by going to passged.weebly.com, and here are links to all four of the PassGED websites, also to this video and two others. Quickly, I'm going to bring up all three of the non-math websites so that I can move back and forth between them. This is not something you'll have to do. Okay, so now we're looking at the GED Science website, and you can see that there are two sections labeled Write 1 and Write 2. That's because there are two writing questions on the science test. If you go to Social Studies, the website, there's one Write 1 section because there's one writing question, and Language Arts, the same thing, one Write section because there's only one writing question. Now, these four questions in the three websites are different, but they share two characteristics. First, you know what the questions will look like, and second, you know that your answers will be graded by a computer. The computer can't evaluate the quality of your writing. All it can do is look for keywords and phrases. So to get 3/4 of the points on these questions, you have to satisfy the computer, not an English teacher. That's sad, but it's true. To satisfy the computer, all three websites use the same Finish the Sentences system. Let's go to the Write 1 section in Science to see how that works. In the first step of the Finish the Sentences system, you type these 7 unfinished sentences into the answer box of the test. You have to memorize them because no notes are permitted on the test. Now, these particular unfinished sentences help you to answer the right question, to be sure your response will be well organized, and it will have enough keywords and phrases the computer is looking for. Now, if you go to Social Studies and go to the Write section, you see there's a different set of unfinished sentences, also 7. The sentences are different because the questions are different, but the system is the same. And if you go to Language Arts, you'll see, again to the Write section, 14 sentences. Now, that's a lot to memorize, but there is a pattern to it. So in step 2 of the Finish the Sentences, I'm going to go back to Science, and I'm going to go back to the Write 1 section. I'm going to look at an example, because in step 2, what you do is you start with the unfinished sentences, which are here in boldface, and then you look at the question and you look at the material you're provided to finish each of those sentences. And so here the boldface is the unfinished sentence, and the regular type is what you would add after reading the material. Now, if you clean that up, it'll look something like this. Now, in Language Arts, we can see something similar. Again, I'm going to an example. Here, the boldface is the original unfinished sentence. The regular type is what you add after reading, in this case, 2 documents. And then, if you clean it up, it would look like this. Social Studies would look very similar. Now, on the Language Arts and Social Studies tests, you have dedicated periods of 45 and 25 minutes for the writing questions. So there it makes sense to use step 3 of the system, and again, we're in Language Arts, and to revise the draft you've produced in the first 2 steps, and you would get something like this. Now, in particular, as the websites emphasize, you can add transition words, words like however, therefore, nevertheless, in addition. The computer looks for these, believe it or not, to try to judge the quality of your writing. Now, on the science test, any time you spend writing is not available for other questions. It's all one test. And since each writing question there is only worth about 3 times as much as a short question, it doesn't make sense to spend much time revising in science. Now, the second science writing question is the hardest one of the 4, because there you have to finish the sentences not from a document, but from what you know, your own prior knowledge about how to test a hypothesis. Now, fortunately, in the science section of the science website, there are lessons and examples about how to do that, links to websites. Now, each writing question, as you've seen, has examples that you see from the drop-down menu here. Where do they come from? Well, the best source is the 3 free practice tests from GED Testing Service, but there are not enough examples there to help you learn how to use these systems. So I've drawn additional examples from Cracking the GED Test, a test preparation book from Princeton Review. It's the only other source I've found online or in a book in which the questions are like the ones on the real test. If you can't find a copy, you can buy one from Amazon for about $17. So, as you've seen, on each of the 3 non-math tests, the Finish the Sentences system helps you answer the right question, organize your answers, and include keywords and phrases for the computer. Using this system, you should be able to get 3/4 of the points on the writing questions in all 3 tests. Now, if you can also get 3/4 of the short questions on these 3 tests, and if you can also get 150 points on the math test, as other parts of the PassGED systems can help you do, you can pass all 4 of the GED tests and get on with your life. Now, in the introduction section, there's a page which makes it easy for you to send me your comments and suggestions. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and good luck with the tests.